Hey now, what's up guys? I'm here to talk about my top 5 favorite Spider-Man movie villains. I could have opened it up to the comic book villains and make the list even bigger, and I might do that one day. But for right now, I wanted to condense it and leave it just to this one category because I thought it would make more sense to have the villains that I chose from the movies and the reasons why I'm picking them. So let's get right into it. Let's start with number 5. Venom. And I know some people are going to hear that and say, really? You put Venom from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3 on your list for favorite Spider-Man villains? I know. I get it. I too am very severely disappointed with how Venom was handled in that movie. Not just for the lack of screen time that the actual Venom character got, but since Venom is my favorite Spider-Man villain, just in general, there's that fanboy part of me that was happy to see any version of Venom in live action, and it's really all I have to grab onto. And also, his characterization is fairly accurate. Is it a less dumbed down version of the character? Sure. But everything of him being jealous of Peter Parker, and the whole them competing over a job at the Daily Bugle, and him being upset because he lost Gwen Stacy to Peter, and him finding out that he was Spider-Man, and at the church, that scene, all of that at least felt like Eddie Brock. It wasn't, I never felt like I was watching Eddie Brock and thinking, well, that's not the character. Sure, you could argue that Topher Grace had no business playing Venom, Eddie Brock, but that's a whole nother debate and story. Number 4, Electro. Electro was somebody that I almost never thought I'd see in a movie. He was always somebody that I saw in comic books with the goofy green suit and the yellow lightning. You just kind of thought, like, wow, how would they ever do that? And then I'd see him in the cartoon shows, the MTV animated show in particular, where he was just all electricity. And he was cool looking, and he was kind of frightening in some ways because he couldn't control his powers. So here, I was quite surprised that they put him in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and that they casted Jamie Foxx to play him. All of this sort of made me laugh, because I still have sometimes trouble to take Jamie Foxx seriously, but I like the way Jamie Foxx played him. You know, he was this sort of abused guy who, this wasn't in the movie, but I saw the deleted scenes of him being treated like crap by his mother, and people forgetting it was his birthday, and just how obsessed he was over Spider-Man and wanting to be friends with him. A lot of that I liked. It wasn't like it was the first time I've seen qualities like that in a potential supervillain, but still, I felt like it was some of the strongest stuff in that film, besides Peter and Gwen, of course. And just the effects, the spectacle of what Electro becomes. You know, when he's using the electricity of the city to go around, and the fight he has with Spider-Man. I thought it was cool. Number 3, Harry Osborn. And I'm speaking more about James Franco's Harry Osborn because I have nothing against Dan DeHaan. I like him as an actor. I just think that they rushed his story too much between I'm Peter's friend from the past for like 10 minutes, and now I'm evil. James Franco, though, we at least built up their friendship. The whole film, they might have had moments of, you know, disagreeing or making fun, but they were still, at heart, best friends. The whole movie. And I loved, more than anything, the dynamic of them in the second film, where Harry hates Spider-Man because he thinks he killed his father. So him being mad at Peter because he thinks Peter is just keeping the identity of Spider-Man from him, not realizing that he is in fact Spider-Man. And I still remember the moment when Harry captures Spider-Man, takes his mask off, and his shocked reaction of seeing his best friend as Spider-Man and trying to process that that means Peter killed his father, and not knowing what he's going to do about that, because he lets him go to fight Dr. Octopus, but still he's so torn, conflicted, and I love him being haunted by his father's ghost, yelling at him to avenge his death, and he doesn't want to, but he does want to. So much going on with Harry Osborn in the first two movies. The payoff with him as New Goblin in the third film was a major disappointment because you can't build that up so well only to have him be one of 3 villains in the third film. I still maintain to this day that Harry Osborn should have been the main villain of Spider-Man 3. You could have had Sandman be a side villain, but, you know, I don't know, I'm still disappointed about that. But anyways, number 2, the Green Goblin. William Dafoe's Green Goblin. Because I love William Dafoe. I do. He's a great actor. I love seeing him play evil. But not only that, it's not like he's just some crazy evil guy. I like the fact that he does come off as a nice guy, at least when he's talking to Peter Parker, because he admires his intellect, and he treats his son, I don't want to say like crap, but he definitely doesn't appreciate him. And when he does take that gas and does become the Goblin, I like the fact that he doesn't know at first that he's the Goblin. He doesn't know what he's capable of. And the scenes of him talking to himself, like in the mirror, only William Dafoe can pull that off, can play both sides and make you sympathize with him while being afraid of him. Sure, it sucks that we never got to see like his face as the Goblin because he has the perfect face for Green Goblin. But we get enough scenes of him without the mask, showing his eyes and that smile. Dafoe was born to play Norman Osborn, and I love everything about his Goblin. Now, number 1, Dr. Octopus. And it was hard to not make the Green Goblin my number 1, but Dr. Octopus is characterized so well in Spider-Man 2. I love the fact that he starts off as this well-respected, distinguished scientist who all he wants to do is come up with a new invention, a new breakthrough in technology, have the power of the sun in a condensed version here, so we can do what we want with it. But of course it goes haywire. He loses his wife, which kind of drives him mad. I still love watching the octopus arms on him and seeing him go through the city, robbing the banks, and him and Spider-Man going at it. It brought me back, and I still get a lot of nostalgic feelings seeing Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus on that train. That train fight is probably one of my favorite fight scenes in any superhero film. It's memorable, it's pretty epic. There's a lot that goes on with it as far as Spider-Man and the people of New York. And I like the way that Alfred Molina played the character. You felt bad for him, but he was capable of doing some evil things. And I also liked the little redemption part to his character at the end. So there you go. That's my top 5 favorite Spider-Man movie villains list. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it. Do you agree or disagree? I will probably do a comic book Spider-Man villain list at some point, but thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Later!